Hi guys, Ronnie here and welcome to the workshop. Today I want to talk about the topic that I got a couple of questions and some pretty irrelevant comments, I guess. So I want to clear a couple of things up and to show you a bit of perspective on why do I do what I do. So this video will be about my sponsorships and how does it work, why do I choose them, and whether you should still trust what I tell you about the products that I show you. So first thing you need to know, and perhaps the most important, for me sponsorships are an option, not a necessity. What do I mean by that? I'm not an 18-year-old kid with no money that can't afford to ride and race bikes and to be on competitive gear. If you've been watching my channel for the past couple of years, before I got these sponsorships, you know that I could, and I don't mean to tell you this in a way to brag about it, it's just the fact that I'm not dependent on these sponsorships. I can afford to fund my own training and racing without any limitations, basically. I'm lucky to be in that position. The reason I did go for sponsorships because it makes a couple of things easier for me, and also it enables me to reinvest the money I have invested in my own equipment into my business, which I then am able to grow further, so I can perpetuate it much better. So that's the first thing you need to understand, that it's not a life or death thing, and it's not that I get sponsorships because I necessarily need them. So yeah, that's the first point. The second point is, and I probably equally important, is that sponsorships are consensual. What do I mean by that? Some people do have a problem with the fact that I tend to change my opinions about things and I swap my equipment around, and I do some modifications, etc. Well, the first thing about that is that you need to evolve, you know. If you don't evolve and you don't try new stuff, then you're not going to move forward. If you look at me cycling for 6 years and where I got in that period, and if you look, and also regarding the business, if you look at people who've been doing this for 15 years and they get nowhere, that progress comes from change. So that's one thing. The second thing is my business, not necessarily my cycling, but my business in general, is based on the know-how, which is, I dare to say, pretty deep and extensive. And that's where I differ from other shops and services, and I'm able to offer this at a very high level. And this is also what I can thank to the amount of changes and equipment that I've tested and used. So how does this stack in the way of sponsorship and getting sponsorships? Well, at the current state and the level where I'm at, I'm able to contact brands that I'm interested in personally, either because I like the brand itself and I'm interested in doing business with them and selling them through the shop, but now as an athlete and an influencer, so that, should I say, I do have the negotiating power to also support me as an athlete individually. And if you look at the brands that I'm using, it's only brands that I choose based on what I would buy anyway and what I would like. I get tons of requests from small startup brands with not so well-known products or completely new things that I wouldn't put my name behind, and I don't, you know, because I have that option. If someone contacts you with a sponsorship, you don't have to take it, you know. So basically all the brands that I work with, let me just list the major ones. So probably the biggest partnership I have is with the Factor Frames. The only reason I got that deal is because in 2021 at the Giro, when they first showed, or well, not really showed, it was still camouflaged back then, they Chris Froome has ridden the Hanzo TT bike, and when I saw that bike I thought that, well, I really need to have that bike, you know, and that's why I contacted them in the first place. Also, they're in a unique position where they also have a very competitive road bike and a very competitive gravel bike, and for me the combination of these three is what made me contact them. And it worked out, as you can see, and I'm happy with how it's going, and soon I will eventually get my Hanzo, hopefully, as well. A lot of people think that I was sponsored by Specialized earlier, but I wasn't. I didn't get a single item, not even a fucking Initube, free of charge, and after the amount of energy and money I've invested in that brand, I decided to step off. So it doesn't mean that Specialized bikes are bad, but I don't like how the brand itself works. So that's what it is. If you look at the other stuff on my bikes, head wheels, again, I was looking to add head wheels to my portfolio in the shop because they're not very popular in Europe and they're great wheels, so that was a niche I wanted to exploit. And as it happens, exactly at that time there was a sponsorship program opening and I applied and got it. So happy days. Regarding Power 2 Max, as for my power meters, they're really one of the two brands that I would trust regarding my training and power, and that's Quark, which I've been using earlier, and now Power 2 Max. So yeah, I wanted to try them and I got in contact with them and the partnership worked out for me and for them as well. So that's for that. And yeah, regarding Wahoo products, I've been using these long before I even got any support from them, and that's just because I came from Garmin. I immediately liked the brand, started selling it, and then at one point when I won the nationals, they contacted me regarding support. So now they support me individually as an athlete afterwards. So if you really think that I take these products because I have no other option and it's just because I get paid to say something, then you're really mistaken. And my final point would be connected to this a little bit, what I just said, that I'm not at the level as an athlete that someone would pay me something to say about their product, and even if I was, I just wouldn't take it if I couldn't agree with that. So you can't say that I don't have skin in the game. Also, I don't receive an enormous amount of support as some would imagine, you know. In my contract I have 2 factor frames. The third one being the gravel bike, I bought that with my own money because I liked it. And I wasn't required by my contract to have a factor gravel bike, but I chose it because I like it. Then if we talk about the wheels, I have around 5 sets of head wheels at the moment. Well, 2 of them I bought with my own money because I liked them. And I just wanted to have some additional pairs. If we talk about the Power 2 Max power meters, again, I got 1 free of charge and the rest of them at a discount, and I don't have an exclusive contract for that. I could have stayed with Quark, but I liked Power 2 Max, so the other 2 power meters I bought with my own money. So, you know, if I was not standing behind my decisions, then I wouldn't do that. So I hope this clears up some misconceptions that people have, and when they question my integrity. Really, I have nothing to hide. I think I was pretty open with everything that I've been saying so far. So if you can accept that, then I'll be happy about that. And if not, then well, that's up to you, I guess. So that's all for today. If you want to know more about what I actually use for my training and racing and also my clients' bikes, And then don't forget to tune into the channel later on and subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you next time.